Hi everyone, Caroline Beatty Day here. Super excited to be back. Season 3 of Destined with Greatness podcast show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight I have an amazing guest that I've been really hunting for since last year. And today he's availed his presence with us, and I'm so grateful to have him here tonight. And you guys know what we always do. We always ask that you share, like, comment. And I'm going to look down and just share this as well. And let us know where you're tuned in from tonight, guys. Let us know where you're tuned in from tonight. Caroline BT Day here, and this is season 3. We are back, and remember, we have real, raw conversations, real, raw, relevant conversations that encourage, empower, educate, but most importantly, establish you in your God given purpose. And I will always remind you that God destined you. He created you with a purpose for a specific mission, and that is the specific people that God has called you to serve, right? And tonight you'll be hearing from my amazing guest tonight. And let me introduce him. I'm going to look down and just read his bio. And remember to share, comment, and let us know where you're watching from, all right? So, my amazing guest, he has quite an amazing story, and I'm so excited. But before we hear from my guest tonight, let me read his bio. My guest's name is Sam Mchalongo. He was born and raised in Kenya, and he went to Kiambu High School, and he had a life-changing moment when he read the amazing book by Tony Robbins called Awaken the Giant Within. But he'll be sharing that later in the conversation. But most importantly, he is a founder and CEO of a media company called Banana Land Media. And he does photography, he also does film, he also does video promotion, and he is also a business coach. He's a motivational speaker, and he has a YouTube channel called University of Business for Creative. He is a published author on Amazon, and his book is called From Good to Great. You can get that on Amazon, but you can also get it on goodpeoplesocieties.com. Goodpeoplesocieties.com. He's also the founder of Refill Ministries, which is an outreach to all through music and arts. He's passionate about changing the mindset of Black people to become more dependent on their own abilities to create from scratch and grow something impactful to many generations to come. Guys, help me welcome my amazing guest, Sam. Hey, welcome, Sam.
Wow, what an intro.
It is yours. It is yours. And we
Well,
celebrate you. We
yeah,
celebrate you for your amazing accomplishment.
mhm.
Karibu, karibu, karibu.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
if you were in my house, I'll be giving you a nice cup of tea.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate it.
So
Mhm.
I will send a cup of tea
Imaginary.
virtually.
Yes, I receive it.
Awesome. Karibu sana. I'm so
Mhm.
excited for
Mm.
you that I was finally able to get a hold of you. You're a busy man.
No, actually, not so busy for you, actually.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank
Mhm.
you, bro. I really, really am so excited because I have watched your journey.
Mm.
And for those of you who did not know, the very first time I met Brother Sam was in 2006. Was it 2006, right?
It's somewhere 6, 7, 2007.
And I've watched your journey. I've watched your fire. I've watched the passion that you have for living life to the fullest, and the tenacity and resilience that you have for serving God and doing great things. And most importantly, the energy. You were always smiling. I've never seen you not smiling.
Yes, I am a happy person most of the time.
And why is joy important? Why is it important to have happiness and joy as you live life?
Um, I think it's actually not just important,
Yeah.
but I think it's very, very crucial
Yes.
for our health, our being, our spiritual health. It's important. But then I think also we should not chase joy. I think joy should follow us along.
Mm.
So is happiness. Uh,
Wow.
yes,
I
we
like I like that. Hmm.
yeah we tend to sometimes run after happiness. If I have this money, if I have this house, I will be happy. But I think we should always have that mentality to enjoy the process itself, because that's the life.
Wow. I like that. You've already started sharing powerful life lessons already. And I love that you said it's important to enjoy the process and not chase joy.
Yes,
Because a lot of times, we're chasing things thinking we'll be happy or we'll attain uh, joy.
we'll attain it, but then no, we should, even chasing money gets to evade you. We should attract money, we should attract joy and happiness, and it will always come along with us.
Wow. So before we get started, I know we only have about an hour. Could you give us a summary of how you grew up, some of the life lessons you learned in your upbringing, and what are some memorable times that you had at home?
I was born in a small township in between Nairobi and Voi, and this township was more in Ukambani area. It was called Kibwezi. Yes, and I tried to visit that place to look for a hospital, and I didn't find any hospital that was capable of helping uh, children get birth. So I ended up believing I might be have been born in a house,
Mm.
and my middle name is Mwanyumba in the house.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense why. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
and
see.
so I was born in Kibwezi. It's a semi-desert area,
Hmm.
and uh, I visited it. It's beautiful. It's hot.
Hmm.
It's always shimmering with this very, yeah, very hot weather, and
Mm.
and very very flat. Actually, Nika Plateau is located there, and
Oh,
just beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, so I was born in a very beautiful area, and I thank God for this. Uh, and then I eventually found myself in Thika, Makongeni, and I was 4 years. That's the farthest I can remember. 4 or 5 years old. My mom gave birth to me when she was around 17, 18 years old. So she
Okay.
was a kid, and she had to go to school.
Yeah.
And I was left with my cousin called Mary. It's and Mary was a 20 something year old cousin of mine who grew up in the rural areas and came to Thika to seek for factory jobs, found herself with six other kids, maybe different fathers, and I was the seventh, and my late sister, the eighth one, in
Oh,
this room for about 4 years, and it was havoc. But then I call it beautiful havoc sometimes, because I remember myself running to the marketplaces and we could eat avocados because we could not. eat plenty in the house. We were
Wow.
too many of us. The girls suffered because they never used to roam the streets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but for me, I had a blast. Now, at the marketplace, we
Mhm.
would pick up avocados and eat them. I just ate a full avocado right now.
Oh, my. I love avocados.
Yes. And if you remember well, in the marketplaces during our time in the 80s, late 80s, we were having these musicians at the marketplace who would come and do karaoke music
I,
and,
I
and
remember good
sell the tape. Yes. So we would dance to the Kikuyu music mostly because it was Central Province.
Yeah.
Dance Kikuyu music with Lingala moves. And they will start paying us eventually and
Wow.
giving us food so that they can sell more tapes. And that is where I fell in love with dancing and all that. But the musical part of it, my mom was a music teacher.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, she passed on 3 months ago out of cancer.
Oh,
And
so sorry about that, Sam.
yes, yes, but she really deposited a lot of musical talent in me and business talent in me. Yes.
Wow.
So,
First of all, we want to honor your mom for raising an amazing gentleman,
thank you.
and the lessons she instilled in you. May God comfort you and the family. You know, losing a mother is a tough thing.
Hmm.
But I wanted to. I when you said Morehouse, I thought that was a nickname, but it is your name.
It's my middle name, my real name,
Oh,
Wanyum.
okay. So that now it makes sense. I thought it was a nickname.
Hmm.
So you said you learned how to hustle when you went to Thika,
Yeah.
especially you'd go to the market to get the avocados.
Yes,
And,
yes, yes.
there's a way that life teaches you. I always say life is a university in itself,
Yes, indeed.
you know. So in your young, tender age, you knew you needed to go out there and hustle and get food.
With the boys, with other boys, with the street kids, actually motherless kids.
Wow.
Mhm.
Now tell us about your high school years and also your journey here to the US and some of the obstacles you overcame to get here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, my mom comes back in the picture and we grew up and I loved reading. I was born a reader.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember those novels Nancy Drew,
Oh, yes, yes.
Robert Ludlum. I I I I I read every book I put my hands on, and I managed to land in Kiambu High School,
Oh, wow.
which was a very good school up to
Mhm.
today.
Yes.
And yes, and I was very active there in the debate club. I had a musical group called Excel,
Oh,
and
wow.
we did music, was singing all over Kiambu and the surrounding weddings and all that. That teacher should pay me. He used to get paid and never paid us, but he exposed us well.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that's where my musical journey began in terms of having a group. Uh, but right before that, I used to love rapping in Swahili, and
Wow.
yes, and I was going to clubs to rap as early as 15 years old.
How would you get in those clubs, brother?
Fake IDs, borrowed IDs, and fake IDs.
Man.
And sometimes they let me in because they knew a rapper is coming.
Yes.
In Thika, we had a club called Vibe Star Club, and in Nairobi we had the Florida 2000.
Oh, I
And
remember
we had,
Florida 2000.
yeah, and
I
then we had,
still hear it.
yes, and we had the one in Langata was
Yeah.
Carnival. I used to frequent those three clubs and a Mamba club. I used to go perform in those clubs a lot. Up to one day I get to meet Nameless right
Oh,
before I came
wow.
here. And I
Yeah.
start following him, and then I come here. And then I meet Chase Mode, who is first cousins with Wahoo. And yeah,
Wow.
but anyway, I
Oh,
digress.
world.
I digress. Let me, yeah. So I finished my high school very well. Get get to be called to a university in Kenya, but I knew my dad was a gambler, big gambler, and he was a racketeer. These days, he's just a chill guy. He's getting older. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and a good man. He was a kind man, always up to today.
Yeah.
And but then they had separated with my mom. So after high school, I didn't know where to go. Nothing. My mom told me, "Hey, it's over. I can't pay the college for you. Your dad is not here, so you do you from here." And I was living with my uncle Mwamburi Matthias. He is currently in Mombasa, but he used to be in Thika. And I had cousins who are soldiers in the 12th Battalion in Thika. And yeah, and these guys used to smoke weed every hour of the day.
Wow.
They're not in the base, they're in my uncle's place smoking. And my uncle was a seller.
Wow.
And yes, and so I'm done with high school. I'm with my uncle, and my uncle is a peddler, and the cousins around me are older and they are soldiers. So I had all this protection from the hood, but then it was a bad place because most of them are not in a good place right now, you know?
Right, right.
Yeah. And it's a crazy place, that place, Makongeni. And one day, my cousin, who was raised with me, my mom raised him with me. He was very good, went to Nairobi school, was older than me, maybe 6, 7 years older, made it to Nairobi University, and ended up landing a job which is so international. He comes to DC and we get to meet here sometimes. And he's a guy, he's a big brother in our family, you know. Whenever we have even a big case out there, he's the one leading us on how to run it. So he comes to our cubicle. He used to come to visit. He's from Nairobi now. He has this job, comes with this Prado from the company, and we will feel so good when he comes. And then he gifts me a book by Ben Carson for
Yeah.
my birthday. Think Big. And I read it all within 2 days. And I'm like, huh, this guy lived a life in the ghetto and actually a very bad life with the mom working as a housekeeper.
Mm,
And he grew and became a doctor who is
mm.
recognized by presidents, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, he tells me I can be the same person too. Now, I didn't want to become a doctor, but I was good in math anyway. And I said, wow, this is good. That's where the dream of coming to America began. Then one day he comes with a book, Unleash the Power Within.
Mm.
Awaken the Power Within by Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, I know you know him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a powerful, legendary guy who was
Yeah.
mentored by people like Jim Rohn
Mm-hmm.
and Al Nightingale, you know?
Yes.
All these are great people out there who really discovered what understanding self is.
Mm.
Uh, I read the book and it changes me totally. It
Wow.
tells me that I can awaken a giant within me from that ghetto and do things that can revolutionize. revolutionize my life and other people's lives. But then every page I read, I could see it was not so possible for me to do it while I was there. And I asked myself, why don't I think big? Because at one point I was told to think big by Ben Carson.
Mm. Yeah, right, right.
And you know what I did? I told my father, hey, I want my inheritance now because you have money, you have houses, you live out there your life. We don't enjoy it, but I want my inheritance. And my inheritance is for you to uproot me from this ghetto and make sure I land in the United States of America. And my dad was like, okay. Pays people, does this. I get to do the TOEFL exam, the SAT. He pays for all that. He had sold his house. He was running out of money. He
Yeah,
was selling his assets, actually, some of the last ones. And one of the last assets, he helped me come to the US with that. Part
mm,
of Yeah. So when I landed, I immediately started paying my sister's school fees because he was wiped out by I don't know what, the gambling, I guess. Yeah. But he was a good man.
yeah.
He is. He's very much alive. Um, I saw his picture the other day and he's so slim and looks youngish. And I'm like, this dude, he never gets old.
Aging gracefully.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, so he helped me do all those things. And I remember the night before I came to North Carolina, it was the last day for my I-20 to expire. And I had to just jump on a plane. And they lied to me that someone is waiting for me in Atlanta because that was where the plane was
Yeah.
landing. And from there, they were assuming I'll make it somehow to North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I get to Atlanta, and uh, no one to pick me up.
Wow.
Yeah. And fortunately, and rather maybe unfortunately, maybe fortunately, I used to be in Makongeni and I was a Nairobi guy a lot because of my cousin. So I had these two vans full of hooligans like me then. I was a hooligan, why lie? Yeah. And
Yeah.
uh, they escorted me to the airport. And then one guy decided to have a fight with the security. And then because we used to do things in gangs, but I
Yeah.
had really been separated from everyone else, I saw them fighting, beating up our security officers, like 20 of them. It was a big problem. The airport almost shut down.
Wow.
20 people attacking one person, and then the other security trying to come and they were never ready for that. And I think some of them were arrested and all that, but it passed on. But this guy who saw the fight was coming to Atlanta, and he frequented there a lot. And when I landed there, he noticed that I was sitting, not knowing what to do, and he came to me and he's like, "Dude, I saw you guys. Your guys were fighting the security at the airport." I'm like, "Me? Did you see me fight?" I was like, "This is an FBI guy trying to get." And he said, then he spoke Swahili and he was like, "Yeah, ni mimi. I saw you, Sijali. I'm a good guy." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he asked me, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "North Carolina." Uh, to who? School? Are you going to live in a school? No. Do you have someone picking you up here? No. It's like, do you have someone you live with in North Carolina? No. And he started
Wow.
laughing. It's like, oh Lord. And apparently, the guy who came to pick him up was no other than Dr. Joe Carroll, founder of KCFA. I don't know if you know him.
Wow. Small
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes and they interview me and they put me in Greyhound. And I had a 919 number, that's a North Carolina number, on my diary. they checked. And a brother to a lady called Washuka was trying to get a visa and he was denied. But he told me, hey, if you go to North Carolina, here's my sister's number. Call her and tell her I said hi. And that's how he gave me the number. And I call that number and I leave a message and tell her, hey, my name is Sam. My 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 former classmate is your brother. He gave me your number to say hi, but I need you to pick me up at Greyhound at 7 in the morning.
Right.
And please allow me to be in your house for a week or two. Do you know she came and picked me up?
Wow.
Yeah. And my story in America began from there.
Wow. Wow.
So graduated and eventually ended up meeting D. Kama and the rest, and we started the Masters Group and Refill Ministries. And I accepted Christ here in America
Oh,
after.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, and this is how I did it. um I used, most of us came and we were just jumping into an assisted living or a nursing home to do work. So I was working in this assisted living night shift, and it was very classy. And this particular lady, old lady, did not speak, had a big room. She seemed to be doing better than any other one. It seemed to be paying more than anybody else, and had a big library. She never spoke a word. She had dementia, some kind of dementia, or maybe, yeah. And she never allowed anyone to touch her, to feed her, to do anything, any man apart from me. And I don't know how. So the family decides, hey, at night, we want to pay you to be sitting with this lady because she never sleeps. She
Mm.
never talks to me. And she never sleeps. She slept during the day, and during the day she was taken care of by other ladies. I guess at night they didn't have a lady help, and she really accepted me. And she realized that I used to come with a book, and I
Yeah.
would read and read. And one day she picks a book and gives it to me, and I check it, and it's a book by Rick Warren's The Purpose Driven Life.
Wow.
I read
Wow.
the book and I accept Christ by myself in that room. So a lady with dementia that never spoke to me led me to Christ.
Oh my God. Wow. I've written a couple of things here because your story is so profound. You know, you mentioned about the power of belief when your cousin who'd come visit in Makongeni, right,
Yes,
gave you Dr. Ben Carson's book,
yes,
and that book began your transformation because you read it, you started to believe.
yes,
And as you read that, you realized that the environment you were in, you needed to get out.
yes,
Because environment, I always say, the environment you're in can either prosper you or keep you so stagnated.
yes,
But thank God you were exposed to books that
yes.
gave you belief, you know.
Mhm.
And thank God for your cousin who also came back again during the visits and brought that book by Tony
Eric,
Robbins.
Eric Kilongi. Mhm.
Thank God, Eric. And if you get to watch this, Eric, thank you because you sowed seeds in your cousin's life that started the journey of believing,
Mm.
because a lot of times you can be in the same environment, but when you're not exposed to better, quote unquote, better, because the books became your exposure that
Mhm.
started to help you believe that there's better out there.
Yes,
And then also the books reminded you that you have greatness or awaken that giant that God has placed in you.
yes, yes,
So that began your pursuit of the journey to America. And we also thank God for your dad.
yes.
the power of sacrifice when you shared his story of how he gave up his assets
Yeah.
so that you can have a better life.
Yeah.
He could have chosen to hold on to it.
Yes.
But
True.
he said, you know what, let me sow my assets in my son.
Hmm.
And then you get to the airport, and that could have also derailed you if you had been caught up by the fights,
Exactly.
especially in your journey. There's so much in your story.
Yes.
And then in the midst of that chaos at the airport, God already had your destiny connector there.
Yes. Right there.
So it's so important to look back. Sometimes we don't see the path ahead, but after you've gotten far, I think it's Steve Jobs who said, when you look back, you see the dots all connected.
Very true.
So
Mhm.
God had his hand on you all along.
Yes.
From
My book
yeah,
opens up with a quote by Steve Jobs: "Stay
yeah,
hungry, stay foolish." It's good that you mentioned that. Co-
yeah.
Continue. Sorry.
No, that's okay because I like to hear people's stories and how they have overcome. But I always love to hear
Mhm.
how God has ordered their steps, because a lot of times we go through so much hardships, but we do not realize that these hardships are building us, our tenacity, our strength, our resilience, you know.
True.
So someone else could have given up and said, you know what,
Yes.
this is what life has given me. Why should I even try to be
Why
better?
I? Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
And then God had you be in that room with the client that you were taking care of, and you had an encounter
Mhm.
with God, and God used it. She was also a destiny connect,
Yes.
you know.
Without her, I couldn't have started Refill.
Wow.
I would have been a secular rapper out there. Hmm.
So tell us about why you started Refill. And guys, let us know where you're watching from. I see my cousin Catherine Ann Juguna says, "Hey, cousin," and she says, "Mambo, Sam." Catherine.
Poor sana, poor, my guys. It's been a long time.
And one of the things I always like to say is that whether we are aware or not, God has positioned destiny connectors in our lives.
Hmm.
you know and sometimes, especially when we're going through so much turmoil and obstacles and curveballs and detours, God still has his hand on your life you
True.
know so tell us about Refill. And that is where I met you, during Refill ministry, when I used to live in Boston.
Hmm.
You guys invited us. We got in a van, drove all the way from Boston to NC. We get there and we're like, wait a minute. You mean there are Kenyans who are doing great things in ministry here?
Hmm.
And I remember a lot of us were, our jaws dropped, because you guys were doing excellent work with Refill Ministry. So why did you name it Refill Ministry? And tell us why you started that ministry.
How we named it Refill, we were on a round table and
Mhm.
arguing and fighting and discussing. What do we name this event that's coming up? And no other than my guy D Kama.
Hey, D, come on.
Let's name it Refill Ministries.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Yeah, that's what we do. We refill people. We bring Karumbezi. She does some ministry in music. We bring Pastor D from Atlanta, and this, and then we come and just refresh the youth and reignite them.
Hmm.
And that's how the name came up through D Kama. How we started, it started as a dance group. I used to go to a church here in Raleigh and
Yeah.
in Durham, a small town called Durham, North Carolina. And we were like three youth in that church. And we were so on fire. And also, I used to also go to an American church called Kerry Church of God. And
Yes.
this lady called Joanne Tao, really, she's the first person to really disciple me to become a real Christian, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the church in Durham was a place of where I just got to meet people with my identity. I don't know if I gained anything much from there spiritually, but it was a place where my fellow Kenyans, you know. So I
Yeah.
would go to the church in the American church with the youth leader Joanne Tao, who would disciple us so well, and then later on in the afternoon go to the other Kenyan church to meet my people. Yeah, and it was good too, you know.
Yes.
Uh, so we were three of us, and we were like, why don't we just start a group and bring all the rally kids together and do a dance group? Because the American church did not offer those dance groups and all that. Uh, we had too much energy from Kenya. Kenya, you know, it's super energetic.
Right, right.
So there was emptiness. The youth at the Kerry Church of God are just laid back. I want to be a doctor. I want to be this. Oh, yeah, we had a good fellowship. Me, I'm like, after fellowship, we need to be dancing here, my friends. And we need a
Right.
studio. And we need that dance group, you know? That energy and fire was not there. And
Mm.
it said I had to direct it to the clubs or to church. And fortunately enough, I ended up with people like Jenga, Dan Jenga,
Yes.
that's Mike Jenga's son, and
Mm-hmm.
Akina Waringa, and all those good guys, and Casey Mboro. And we formed a group, and we made Maggie Waruri our patron and all that.
Yes.
We did an event at the Durham church, and the event was packed, and it was a blessing. I was just dancing.
Yes.
Bow songs, all those Panoan songs back then, and wow, and the whole of Raleigh and the whole of North Carolina gets to hear about this, and they're like, guys, next time you do an event, bring a pastor, bring a musician, make it a conference, and that's how we ended up calling you for our first refill. So when we did the event, it was not refill. So we called it refill when we called you.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was the first time
I
refill.
remember it was such an honor to be invited, and I remember just sensing a hunger. Uh,
Girl, up to today, I don't
I'm
know how
telling
you put
you.
that excellence in your
And
music.
thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. And
That's international standard. Up to today, I
mm,
never saw anything. I saw it in Akina Lucas Samari
yeah,
and Akina Zenzo.
yeah.
Yeah, with a TW. And then I saw it in you and no one else.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
Oh my
I
God.
appreciate for that compliment. I always believe that.
It was these yellowish patterns and what was
I
the
don't
name?
even know if I have my
What's the name of the album? Destiny?
yeah, the first my first album was called Destined. Destined.
Destiny!
Yeah.
See, I remember.
And that one actually sold out. And then the second album was called is actually called Destined for Worship. It's
Yes.
on web, guys, and you can inbox me if you need it.
Oh,
But I remember what I was really amazed of is how you guys did the event with such excellence, but also you guys were so young and sold out.
yeah.
One of the things I loved that you spoke about is the importance of creating opportunity. You saw a gap that was missing, you
Yes.
know, because you could have diverted your energy, as you say, to the clubs or other places.
Hmm.
but you guys created an opportunity where people can come and serve and use their God-given talent.
Mm-hmm.
And because you did that, it drew people from all walks of life, from the north, south, east, and west, and even leaders in your community,
Yes.
you know. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things I also wanted to say is music was bathed in you since you were young, because you talked about your uncle and your mom, mostly your mom, you
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So tell us about some of the challenges you faced with in ministry before we talk about your media production company.
Mm. Um, a lot of challenges in ministry.
Yeah,
Uh, First of all, I was one problem I had was I was this guy who thinks big,
yeah.
and you saw it in refill.
I remember.
Thinks so big, and I would actually run out of money and out of I would use my rent money to do a refill event.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. And that was really tough because we lacked a lot of financial support then,
Right.
and we used to just do it out of our. So while other peers were busy building and buying land in Kenya, we were busy doing ministry.
Mm-hmm.
We were busy doing ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Mm.
Friends are buying land, building plots in Kenya. You know, I managed to build one or two. You know, I helped my mom build her school in Mombasa, but not so much. You know, as supposedly supposed to by the stereotype. You know the stereotypical success. You come here, Jenga Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. And so I failed in that big time because I chose ministry. And funny enough, God brought all these people, like in Adikama, we meshed together. That's why Refill was founded by more than one person because we meshed so well. Whatever I started with could not have gone anywhere without Dikama, without Jenga, without people like Gadoni, who is still in Raleigh today,
Yeah.
and, all those people. And the other thing was we were so young, winning the trust from parents was difficult. And also the other difficulty was we had a pastor who used to govern us, but then the churches wanted us to be under one church. But we are these 60, 70 youth whose parents take us to different churches. And some
Right.
of us, like me, no parents in America. So some of them never used to go to church. Some of them actually were club bangers every Saturday. They were just followers, you know? And and actually, uh, we were a mix of people who are in ministry and a mixture of people who are followers. And with the churches, especially the Kenyan churches, seeing this big group, and they're like, why are they not under our church? And that caused a lot of havoc because
Mm.
we could not be under one church. My church was in Durham with my pastor there, and
Right.
we were three guys. And I remember one day we went to Indiana and we went 60 of us, 7 vans. And
Wow.
yeah, and I was asked, hey, dude, what church are you from? You guys are so many. I said, oh, we are from different churches. And the guy there said, oh, I thought you're from your church in Durham. I said, oh, no, only three of us. By responding that way, when I came back, I was told, oh, give me the church keys. You're no longer part of us. You went
Oh,
there and you said you're not part of us. So give me the church. I was like, oh, okay, here, your church. All I used to do in the church is wash the bathroom. So you gave me the keys to wash the bathroom, and you take that away from me because I went out of town and I declared, I kind of said that we are not all from this church, you know. and all that politics. So that went on, and a lot of young people dropped off because of that politicking with our some of our Kenyan parents with that politicking in a Kenyan manner. And instead of embracing the youth and
Mm.
the correcting, we
Yeah.
started with the correcting
Yeah.
before embracing. And that caused a lot of damage.
Wow.
Yeah, and unfortunately, those churches are almost non-existent. And,
Mm.
uh, today, 757 youth, I count, have gotten saved through refill.
Wow. That's amazing.
I can count 100 who are either church elders, youth leaders, and worship leaders in St. Louis,
Wow.
and Cash, church elder in Delaware. I can tell you by name.
Wow. That's so powerful.
So we
So,
accomplished
so,
a lot, but it was really tough.
wow.
Mhm.
And what made you keep pushing despite the obstacles, quote unquote obstacles, from all the politics from different churches? What made you keep pushing?
Ah, the the passion of music that God has given me had given me, and the God also brought people dropped out. At one point, I was just I and Abigail, a girl called Abigail, remaining in the group. Everyone gone, but then somehow God brought other people. Chase mode comes in, the famous chase mode,
Yes, yes.
and
The
turns
Facebook.
everything around. He
Wow.
starts even inviting the OBB, the Oswald brothers. He tries to even bring like Ray, and that guy is he thought even bigger. Again,
Mm,
right there in Texas, becoming a millionaire every day. That dude is doing great.
wow.
Yeah. So he joined in, and the brother Steve, and a guy called Manyara. So God kept on bringing these people who will come and uplift me and tell us, hey, let's do this, and let's do it in Atlanta now, and now let's do it in St. Louis. Now in Texas, I've done a lot of refill events right there in Texas. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and let's do them here, and that's how people got saved. Then we Chase Mode. I don't know where he got in touch. He brought this guy Richie Righteous. He's a pastor in Queens. He's a big rapper in Queens. He's great. You should all check Richie Righteous out there.
We
He
do.
Yes, he comes to your youth event. They will get saved, including the mothers and everyone. It's
Wow.
guaranteed. So a large portion of that group that got saved is through him, and people like Comfy DJ came.
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Oh my
I
goodness.
will preach, and young people just get saved, and keep up with them, you know. And yeah, God kind of kept the energy. I don't even know how I did a refill last year. I,
Wow.
yeah, I actually one day called people for dinner to do a farewell for refill and say, guys, it's 2015. I'm an old G.
Yeah.
Oh God, a week did not go. Pastor calls me, hey dude, I want a refill here in St. Louis. Actually, I have $4,000 for you. I was like, now you're financing me. I am coming.
Oh
so,
my God, brother Sam, you're funny.
so
But
it's really God. It's really not me. It's God who's brought people.
that
2 years ago during COVID, I was like, I'm not doing refill anymore. And somehow Benachi, Eunice Njeri happens to be in the US. And this pastor from Charlottesville calls me, dude, come to my church, big church. Let's do a refill here. I'll pay for all of it. I'm like, really? I thought I retired because of COVID. And then a week later, the church here in Raleigh tells me we have to do refill. And I'm like, during COVID, two successful refills? that's not me, you know.
And
So,
that's when you know God has his hand on you. You can't retire from what God has called you to do.
mhm, mhm.
And I keep hearing how God positions destiny helpers in your life.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I also keep hearing the importance of having a purpose and passion that will keep you moving forward beyond
Hmm.
the obstacles that are meant to stop you.
Yes.
And having faith as your fuel,
Hmm.
because with all of those obstacles, you could have easily given up and not even ever touched Refill Ministries.
Yes.
So, moving forward to your media company,
Hmm.
tell us more about why you started Banana Land Media and why did you call it Banana Land?
Okay.
Yeah,
It is 2015.
okay.
I have I was in the same house you came to
Yes,
in 2007. I was still there here in Raleigh. I don't know if you remember that house. We used to call it White House.
I remember. Yeah,
Yes. It's 2015 and people have left. Some people have married, some have gone to college.
yes,
Um, and I'm doing music. I'm releasing all these songs every day, sending them to Kenya, everywhere. I had all at one point I was full time for this Raleigh pastor decides that I'll go on tour with him all over the North Carolinas on youth programs for
yes,
3 years. We did those programs together, just me singing, doing my reggae beats, so English songs, and
yes,
they loved me. The young guys used to think I'm from Jamaica because I'll be like, "Yeah, man, Wagwan people, give it up for Jesus Christ in the building," and they thought I was, and they loved me, and the pastor took me everywhere. So we had a problem.
yes.
We doing videos was difficult then because video production was expensive,
Right,
thousands of dollars for you to have a good simple video.
right,
Yeah, and you can't fly to Kenya to do a music video, you know.
right.
And this guy Solomon, who was our producer, we had our own studio in Raleigh called Jikoni Production in one of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where Kiki Mutungi and so many others, Alemba, Zaidi ya Mziki, we've recorded so many songs there.
Oh, wow. Jikoni production. I
Yeah,
remember.
Jikoni Production. And Solomon was this genius who you could not dare challenge.
Right.
Told him, dude, can you do photos and videos? And he said, yes. I told him, you're a liar. You say yes to everything. And a month goes and he buys a camera, a Canon T3i, I remember.
Oh, wow. And
And
back then, that's a huge deal.
yes. And he said, Sam, let's do your video. And I do this song, Mwanampotevu, and he shoots it
Yes.
outside in the gardens. My house was next to a big farm. And I do a Mwanampotevu song there, The Prodigal Son.
Yes, I remember that song.
And the next thing, it's on TV in Kenya. And I'm like, what? And so he eventually he kind of also disappears out of the blue. And at this time, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Have you ever been tired? I am tired of working for someone because
Yeah.
I lived my life seeing my mom doing business.
Right.
Dad's doing business, although he was a racketeer, but businessman racketeer, and the good ones. He never took anything from anyone by force. They
Right.
used to sell all these green garnet gemstones, that gemstone world in Kenya. And I was like, hey, my dad was genius. He could. forge anything. He could do it. That guy, my dad, is a piece of art. Although at one point he was not doing it the right way, But he gave that to me, being meticulous in things that I do.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm tired, and I'm tired of these jobs. I've done CNA for 6 years. Then after that, when we started refill, I had to quit my job because Dr. Jackson Kosgei, Amy Kosgei's dad, comes and preaches in KCFA, where I am doing a youth ministry. I'm doing music, and he tells us, guys, because he has no legs, he tells us, guys, don't be sorry for me. You guys are fundraising $2,000. You are 700 of you fundraising $2,000. We needed that money for something. And he said, be sorry for yourselves. You're crippled in the mind doing all these CNA jobs, thinking that all of you are called here for CNA and gas stations. And you're fundraising, 700 of you fundraising $2,000. It means all of you have given only $3 each. Wow. And he said, we can give you all that money right here, right now. And he tells us, go back to where you come from and think of something else to do that is purposeful. Do you know I quit my CNA job then? Oh. And guys thought I was crazy.
You're very radical.
And yes, and I tried to sell cars. I tried to do moving business, and I ended up being employed by Papa John's because it was flexible delivery, pizza delivery. I did that job for 6 years, doing my albums and everything, and I was tired in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah, and I said enough is enough. One night, I had graduated already as an automotive engineer, heavy engines and equipment, did that job for a few weeks, and I got tired of it. No, that's not me. And I'm like, golly, what am I going to do? I'm 30 years old at that time. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And Solomon, and I realized people asking for us to do videos and photos for them. Everyone asking me every week, hey, I need a video like yours. And our video was terrible. And I'm like, one time Solomon played a documentary, and I think it was by Peter McKinnon, my mentor from Canada.
Yeah.
When it comes to filming and photography. And I fell in love with film and photography. And when he left, I was like, okay, Solomon stopped doing this. At that moment, I was like, refill is over, everyone is gone. And I don't want any jobs. I don't want to be employed. And I had quit the job that I went to school for. I was doing driving at night for delivering medication. And while doing that, I was listening to Al Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, reading the Bible regularly, and reading a lot. And one time I listened to Al Nightingale while driving down from Asheville, North Carolina. Beautiful night, snow everywhere, forming these cups on trees. It was beautiful, and it's hilly and spiral, and listening to this. And the moonlight was out. It was a clear night, but it was leftover snow. I remember it vividly. And Al Nightingale, in his book, The Secret, he said, guys, 1 out of 100 of you, by the time you're 65, you'll be broke. And you have to fight to be the 10. He said 90% might be broke. But he said that a few years ago. That's almost 40 years ago.
Mm.
Yeah. So now maybe the percentage is higher. I don't know. And then I realized I'm also Black. How am I going to make this 10%? He says, of all men, 10% will be doing great, financially independent. And I'm like, who will be financing refill? Because people are getting tired giving me money. Selling t-shirts to make $8,000 every year to finance refill is excruciatingly difficult, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I decided, that night driving, I said, this is it. I am starting, I'll become a photographer because I fell in love with that. And it's related to music, what I'm passionate about. And I did music for 3 years full time, and I realized this is not what I was told will be paying my bills. This is my ministry, you know. So I decided, you know what, I have to start a company to support the ministry and to
Mhm.
support me.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And you know what I did? Another very, very radical thing.
right.
I called my landlord because I knew I was living paycheck to paycheck. And I told him, I'll be out of here at the end of the month. I am so sorry, and I will not be able to pay anymore. And he said, okay. I wanted to renovate the house anyway. You're the one who was keeping me. A good friend of mine, Dr. Gashengeshi.
Yeah,
Yeah, good. God bless him. He's also one of my, he was my spiritual mentor here.
yeah,
Yeah, call me and grill me for hours. I used to hate it. Yeah, and uh, and so to make the story short, I decided to live in my van. I had a van then for 6 months. Saved about $10,000. Bought my first two-speaker system, a subwoofer, and,
wow,
and a mixer. It was a Yamaha 16-channel mixer and a DJ machine. And this time I bought the Canon T5i, uh, two generations above what Solomon had bought.
wow,
Yeah, and some lenses. And one day, this guy, I worked with him this weekend in Atlanta, where actually I made like 3 grand in one day, you
wow,
know, and he made maybe more in one day, And this guy, Wilson Molo in Atlanta, one day he calls me and told me, dude, you told me you're a photographer, right? That I've been because I was living in a van. I don't want any Kenyan to know I'm living in a van. So I'm very lonely. Anytime I'm working, I go work, I come back to my van. If I'm not in the van, I'm in Barnes and Nobles, learning a lot of photography and film, learning, and watching YouTube videos. Within 6 months, I was a guru. Now I'm a teacher. Yeah. And my university education off into the bushes. Uh, and they pay me 700 to do a 4 hour photo shoot.
wow.
And I'm like, wow, this is it. And KCFA calls me to do another job, and I'm like, here's $500. We need your sound. And I'm like, wow, okay. And before I knew it, I get to be called by this Caucasian lady through my friend. Hey, I have a wedding. I need you as a DJ. I need you as a videographer and photographer. And my friend George was a connection. I go and DJ and do film at the same time, and he does the and he helps me do other things. And I make it's not a lot of money right now, but I made $900 in a day.
Wow.
I was like, no way. And I quit my driving job.
Wow. In your story, when you see me looking down, I'm writing the life lessons I'm hearing.
Yes, yes.
Because one of the things that you, there's so many life lessons in your story, bro.
Yeah.
And you've talked about and you keep talking about so the importance of reading,
Reading books.
because the generation we're living in, a lot of people don't read books anymore.
Oh, they are all over me. All over me. I have a whole library. Right now I'm reading the Atomic Habits. It's out.
Wow.
Yeah. You need to check it
The
out.
Atomic Habits. And guys, if there's anything that I want you guys to hear from our amazing guest tonight, for you to grow, you have to read. You have to read.
You have to. It's a must.
There's no way out of this. You have to read.
Yes,
And then you talked about the importance of having a mentor.
it's a must.
And
Right
you,
now, I have a mentor in Atlanta, David Chance, who owns one of the best podcasts. He has a podcast called the Social Proof Podcast.
oh, I know. I've watched his YouTube videos, the Social Proof podcast.
Yes, that's my mentor right there.
Oh, that's amazing. And you
Mhm.
talked about doing things with purpose,
Yes.
because a lot of time, and we all came here as students, we didn't know better, so a lot of us ended up doing some jobs that we were not passionate about. But you
Yeah.
talked about the importance of having purpose and letting purpose be your fuel,
Hmm.
but also faith.
Faith is important.
Faith is important.
Because actually, some guys were called together and they came to me one time. I think they realized this guy is sleeping in the van. And they were like, Sam, you used to call us for parties every Friday before
Wow.
you got saved. What happened, man? You've lost it. Look for a job. And I just got quiet. The same people actually praise me these days because
Wow.
right now I live in a full whole house. I'm waiting for a wife. A
Ah,
full whole house,
all
but
right. Oh, stop right there, guys. All right. He has said it. He
yeah,
is waiting. Are you waiting
yeah,
on a wife or you are looking for a wife?
yeah. I need a wife to come and occupy this house. The living room is a studio. We need to make it a real living room. My
All
kitchen,
right.
I love cooking, so my kitchen is full.
We will pray that you find the right wife
Yes, yes.
who is now. Let me stop right
Now
there. I can
paid
go. I can go on that.
yes, yes. And the bills are paid by Banana Land Media,
Oh wow.
not another job. That's
Wow.
that same thing that made me homeless for 6 months.
And I wanted to talk about that because there are seasons of sacrificing so you
Mhm.
can get to where you want to be. You sacrificed
Yes,
and you stayed and slept in your van for a season,
yes.
because a lot of times we will face, and I talk a lot about seasons because we will all go through seasons. It's inevitable.
Hmm.
But it's so important to understand, what, this season is not going to last, but what sacrifice am I willing to make so I can get to my next?
Yes.
Wow. You got to write a book on all of these things I've been writing down, because
Yes.
and talk about your book. We haven't even touched on your book
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued by your story, but also, can you tell us why you wrote From Good to Great?
It's just my life. It's my
Yes,
pursuit to become great.
yes.
Yeah, I wrote. Sometimes you have to be. You have to just be what you want to be. And even I started teaching photography before I became a guru. You know.
Can I just interject quickly right there, because a lot of people wait until they have mastered things. So
Yeah.
it's okay to teach while you're still learning.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And
Okay, go on.
yeah.
Mhm.
So this book is based on another small book like my book, written in 1910 by Wallace D. Wattles. It's called The Science of Being Great.
Mm,
And he says that for you to be a great person, you have to do certain things in a certain way. So you have to start from home. You have to love your family before you love the world. You have to take care of your family before you take care of the entire world.
right.
But what you have to do, because being great is important. Being great, not being great, not even be, not being great is almost a sin. You
Mm,
are meant to be great and to maximize our potential. And there's no way, Caroline, you can maximize your potential and not be great, you know? And so you you cannot start a kiosk, a
Right.
supermarket with the capital of a kiosk.
Mm.
But you can start a kiosk with that capital, but do it in a great way. Be so good in that small kiosk. Be so good to the customers, be so good, be so excellent. And
Right.
then once it overflows, if you become too big for that place, then you can move to another place. That's how even pastors and leaders should be. Be too big for your family. They've received so much leadership and love from you for,
Right.
that now you can lead the entire community. That
Mm.
is how we should be great, and it is required.
I
We were,
love that.
yeah, we were born to grow. We were
Right.
meant to grow. The vision between me and you is so similar. Look, we say I'm a doctor, but you're a doctor, yes, but being a doctor is just a tool, it's just a conduit. I'm a musician, you're a musician, but that's a conduit, it's a vessel. In a
Right.
way, a vessel. Our job is to change people's lives, to
Right.
impact people.
Mm.
Yeah. And the only way we'll beat people like Beyonce and Jay-Z from grabbing so many youth is by being more excellent than they are. It's by running away from mediocrity.
Mm.
It's by transforming ourselves, becoming from good, just being good, to great. And that's what the book is about. Only 28 pages. I don't have no intros. I just hit the road running on the book.
I like that. Hit the nail at the head.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we know we have greatness inside of us. And for me, it took me a long time to accept that.
Hmm.
Because a lot of us growing in our culture, we were not meant to, we were told not to be loud, not to be outspoken, not to outshine others,
Yes. Hmm.
but really when I understood that every one of us is uniquely destined with greatness,
Hmm.
I stopped being apologetic about it. I started to be unapologetic about it.
Mm.
Because when we look at a lot of the secular people, they're very unapologetic about who they are.
Hmm.
And it's for us as Christians, we're meant to do great things. And as you said, we're meant to progress in life, but most importantly, impact and influence people in a positive manner.
Yes.
So it will take us doing the work so we can move from being just good to being great.
Great. Yes.
Guys, you got to get his book. It's in Amazon. And I also put the link there, goodpeoplesocieties.com.
And
Get
I
it
have
on
hard
Amazon.
copies too.
And he also has hard copies. And
Yes.
please, I will also put his Facebook pages and links so you can inbox him, get the book as well. And as we wind up,
Can
because,
I boast for a second?
oh, yes, actually, go ahead.
I have to boast just for a second.
Absolutely.
The book is one of the best-selling books in that category last year, and
Oh,
this
wow.
year every week,
Amazing.
yeah, it's selling every week. Every week it's
Wow.
selling. Yeah, so it's a book that,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's really selling out there to the world.
Congratulations, guys. Give him a hand. Because for you to be a bestseller in certain categories in Amazon, that's a big deal.
Yes,
That's a big deal.
last year. Hmm.
And may God even enlarge your territories in Amazon, in your business. Banana Land Media Production House, may God even bring more destinies connectors. Because all your life, God has always brought people to connect you
Yes.
and to expand you.
Hmm.
And even when you said that there's that season of your life you thought as though You were not building back home like the status quo.
Yeah.
I pray the Lord restore what you think you may have lost, because you did not actually lose, but may God cause you to harvest the seeds you sowed.
Yeah.
Because from what you say, there are many people's lives that were transformed in refill ministry,
Mhm.
and now they're in different leadership capacity just because you obeyed God and launched that ministry with the other founding members. But I also want to give a big hand clap to all the other founding members, Pastor Maggie, all the amazing people. You guys hosted us with excellence. I still remember. I'll never forget the excellence. You guys catered everything for, and it was not just me who was invited. There's so many other musicians, Akina Yvonne, Zaidia Mziki. I remember all those other artists.
Kiki Mutungi, I remember.
Yes, Kiki, I remember. But I
Yeah.
want to say, Sam, that you have not, you're just starting to see the fruits of all those seeds that you guys sowed.
Yeah.
Because back then, there are not many Kenyans who were doing what you guys were doing.
Yes.
So I pray that this is the beginning of greater expansion of
Mm.
your media house, of your ministry, that you will even now have to hire people. You will
Amen.
have to hire people
Amen. Let it be so.
in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name.
I actually hire people on part time, but I want to hire full time.
Yes, because I see the business growing to a place now. Now you are hiring people to run, and
Amen.
now you do the other things, that the creative side of it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to speak that word to you
Oh
and
my
let you
God.
know.
Yeah. You know, you just nailed it. My biggest issue right
Mhm.
now is,
Yeah,
not to be out there holding the cameras,
right.
making everything run, and just concentrate on the whole wellness of the media.
Amen.
Really, that it takes care of the things, that way even the ministry can be ran well. So you just nailed it.
I'm just speaking a word, and I know it will come to pass
Yeah.
as I hear the Lord leading. And
Mm,
I know, I want you to know nothing was ever wasted in your life.
mm,
And this was not part of the conversation,
mm.
but I wanted to speak those words. And I know God is faithful. He is a faithful God,
Amen.
because you have obeyed and served with excellence and obedience, and you are still pushing through, serving and impacting people.
Yeah.
As we wind up, what are some life lessons you'd give to a woman or a man who's wanting to start a company, and they're looking at their bank account, they're looking at their life, and they have this big dream, but they're afraid to start? What words of advice would you give to them?
Yeah, I'll start by saying, guys, life is short and life is long. It depends on how you're viewing it. Uh, Life can be long if you learn from your past mistakes and live the present to your fullest potential, and appreciate and look forward towards the future. A young person in America right now, or any person, if you're in a field and you think you're not positioned in the right place, you're just there for either survival or you're taking care of your family, I won't tell you to quit your job today like I did and slept in a van. If you're young enough and vibrant, do that. It's an adventure. It's beautiful out there. But not everyone can do that, of course. Uh, I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits. And this book is teaching me a lot. It's telling me that if you increase your growth, if you improve by 1% in every element of your life, it will compound and compound. And within a year, You won't believe how much improvement. If if it's a podcast and look for an element to improve on every day, 1%. If you want to start a business and you have no money, put that 10% on the side. Every paycheck, put it there, put it there, put it there. And at the end of 1 year, you won't have to quit your job, but you'll have a place to start with. And not everything needs money to begin. A podcast, as long as you have your laptop and something to record on, you're good to go. You know, a media company, all you need is a camera. It can start with a phone. Your iPhone, some of you can start better than I did because an iPhone today does better than my camera then. So uh, begin small, but in a great way. Apply excellence in that small thing you do, that short video you do with your iPhone, and put it out there. Uh, do it in a great way, in an excellent way. Then you will slowly overflow and grow bigger and better, and you'll influence more and more people. Now, I said life is short. Don't procrastinate. Don't be afraid. Fear kills your creativity. The thing you will regret the most when you're 99 years old is you not pursuing your true potential.
Mm.
Yeah. And time is running. And guys in America, let us work hard to push poverty out of our lives and out of our families. Poverty is also almost a sin.
Mm.
During the Rothschilds and the Rockefeller times, the world used to say, oh, these guys have taken all the money we can ever make. But that's a lie. People like Bill Gates, people like Elon Musk, they've come with creativity. Now they own a lot. People like Warren Buffett,
Yes.
Charles Munger, look at Berkshire Hathaway, all
Mm.
from scratch. So Rothschilds did not take everything. Comparing to what we have now, that's nothing. We are able, all of us, to live a very abundant life. And if your job has a ceiling, you have to create something for yourself.
Mm.
Something because God gave you a gift, and use it. Use it, use it, use it, and improve on it every day. Never ending improvement every day. And it is the thing you will retire on if you want. These days, to retire is not to go home and sit. To retire is starting your own business. And
Yes, yes, yes.
yes. So, my
Mm.
friends, uh, my fellow Kenyans, especially in America and other Africans, let us not sell ourselves to those companies for the money they give us. Yes, let's work there if we can, but also build something
Mm.
for yourself. Like Caroline, I am proud of you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Look at you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. I appreciate
Wow.
it.
Wow. Wow. This has been a masterclass. I meant to interview you, but I came to learn because this right here, I've been so inspired. And I thought I knew you as a friend, but there's a whole part of you I've learned about tonight.
Yeah.
And the fact that the resilience part of you, the tenacity, faith being your fuel, and letting passion propel you forward with the backing of faith and God, and how God will always, I was so encouraged to keep even dreaming bigger, because I was reminded as you shared how God will always bring destiny connectors. Our moral obligation is to take that step of faith, and then God will bring those destiny connectors, because you told us tonight that we should not be comfortable being good. We need to be great, because that's our birthright. That's what God put in us. And you also reminded us the power of belief. Wow, that right there was so profound to me. The power of belief and the importance of reading. Because I am always reading. Every time I go to like Target or Walmart, I always get a book, because I think I was listening to one of the, I think it's Les Brown, who
Les Brown.
talks, yeah, who talks about leaders have to be readers. You have to read for you to keep growing. And I also love that you reminded us that your gift will make room for you.
Yes.
And that, I mean, I wrote so many lessons, because especially the sacrifice part. A lot of us want to do great things, but we don't want to sacrifice,
We don't.
you know? And you reminded us to go through the process, and sacrifice for a season is that process we have to go through so we can get on the other side, where now we are self-employed, we're pursuing and living the life God destined for us, you know?
Mm,
And thank you also for reminding us, even as we grow and pursue our purpose, wherever God has stationed us, to remember not to be comfortable over there. Because I know a lot of people who are watching may be working for different places,
mm,
but also not to be too comfortable there, but also grow our businesses, our ministry.
mm.
And as I wind up, you said that it's so important to first really impact the local and then grow globally, because a lot of times we reverse engineer it. We want to go globally, but we don't want to impact where we are.
True.
Thank you for reminding us that, because those are principles also in the Bible, where Jesus started in his village, then he grew, you know. So guys, do not be afraid to impact your local place, wherever God has stationed you. As Brother Sam said, impact those within you, your circle, local. And then as you're faithful, God will expand you, just like God has expanded Brother Sam. And also, you reminded us the importance of having a mentor and mentoring others.
Yes.
Man, guys, it has been a masterclass. We came for a masterclass. I started off as a conversation, but it has been a masterclass, because I'm going to go back and watch this again and again. But guys, let me ask you a huge favor. Go and follow his Facebook page, Brother Sam Mchalongo. I'm also going to pin all his social media platforms. But most importantly, go to Amazon, get his book, From Good to Great. Also, goodpeoplesocieties.com. Get his book there. You can also inbox him and buy the book directly from him, so he can get 100% of the amount you spend. And remember, he is impacting our people, and God has also enlarged his territory. I pray that this conversation has encouraged you, empowered you, educated you, but most importantly, reminded you that God will establish you in your purpose. Your job is to obey and take that step of faith, as Brother Sam has shared his life. He's always been taking steps of faith, radical faith. Oh my God.
Yes.
And there's so many people who have commented on here. I see our amazing, beautiful sister, Diana Mohoro. Thank you so much. She says, being poor is hard. Getting rich is hard. Choose your hard. And then Chinua Chweya Otinega says, yes, sir. I mean, there's so many people who've been commenting, and I know this will also be replayed. I see Lois all the way. My amazing, beautiful friend and coach says, looking good. And there's so many people. I can't read all the comments because I wanna honor his time, and he graced us with his presence. Went over the conversation for at least 30 minutes. Thank
Yeah.
you, Brother Sam.
Yeah, tell them to follow me on YouTube, most importantly.
You. And
Yeah, subscribe to YouTube,
I will put in your social media platforms,
Banana Land Media. Yeah.
Banana Land Media on YouTube, as
And
well as
Instagram
an Instagram, Banana Land
and
Media,
and
on Facebook.
TikTok, everywhere.
Guys,
Facebook is Sam Mchalongo.
Sam Mchalongo.
Yes.
So YouTube, Banana Land Media, Instagram, Banana Land Media. Are you on TikTok?
Yes, Banana Land. I had to go. You have to follow those young people.
I'm telling you, Banana Land Media on all social media handles. Guys, let's show him some love. Please put some love hearts on there, please, because what he shared is a whole life a masterclass tonight. It's a whole masterclass tonight. We appreciate you, Sam.
Thank you.
We love you, and we
Thank
thank
you.
you for the amazing work you're doing.
Thank you.
And we're looking to see as you grow. Don't forget us, oh.
Never will I. Never.
And guys, he does video media production. If you have a video that needs to be short, because I know I'll be going there to have my music video done. Because if you've seen his work, it's excellence. He operates in excellence because we have to be people who do things in excellence. Not as he reminded us, we cannot be people who do mediocre work, right?
Yeah.
So if you need video or a music video shot, photography, weddings, video promos, production, he does all of that. And that is all under Banana Land Media Company.
Yes.
Guys, give him a hand clap. Give him his flowers and love, because I always say, let's have this conversation. Let's show people that they're our own people who are doing great things, who are not afraid to share their stories and how they overcame the struggles and how God has established them in this great country. Guys, let's give him a mighty clap. We love you, bro.
Thank you.
And
Thank
thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Thank you for starting off with us, season 3 of Destined with Greatness podcast show. We keep it real, raw, and relevant, our conversations. And thank you so much, guys. Join us next week, but please remember, go on YouTube, Banana Land University
media.
Media, and Amazon, and all his social media handles. That's so easy to remember. Banana Land Media. Guys, hasn't it been amazing? So
Yeah.
many lessons, so many lessons. Put on the comment what your favorite life lesson was, and we'll go back in there and we'll reply to everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Brother Sam. We love you.
Thank you.